Alright, so today I have a quick, well, I'm not going to say a quick video because my fucking videos are never quick, let's be real, who you're watching right now. But I'm gonna just do a breakdown of what a forced 50-50 is in Tekken 8, because a lot of players, well, at least in my comment section, in a lot of my videos, don't seem to grasp what a forced 50-50 is compared to just a standard 50-50. So, a 50-50 in fighting games is typically like you can beat the option that they're trying to throw out at you aggressively with one type of counterplay, but then you lose to the other option that it would be. Like, for example, if I'm just holding back and Kazuya is coming at me with different with wave dashes into forward 4-3 or hell sweep, different types of wave dashing. He's wave dashing either twice or he's wave dashing 4 times into forward 4-3. So because I'm blocking here, just standing up and blocking, I can beat the forward 4-3, right? I block the forward 4-3 and Kazuya's at -3, so it's my turn. But I lose to the hell sweep. This is a 50-50. You either lose to the low by blocking standing up, or you block the mid and then it's your turn. Now, what if I block crouching? Well, if I go crouching, then I eat the forward 4-3. If I guess that he's gonna do the mid, I eat the forward 4-3. But if I guess he's gonna do the hell sweep, then I block the hell sweep and Kazuya dies. You know, full fucking combo, full damage. That's a classic 50-50, and the type of 50-50 that most players seem to think is really busted with Kazuya. Now, the issue with Kazuya's 50-50 is it actually has quite a bit of counterplay to it. I can just leisurely sidewalk, and I beat every option. Even though Kazuya's realigning with wave dash, I still beat. It could be 2 wave dashes, it could be 4 wave dashes, I don't care. If I sidewalk, I beat everything. And then I get to launch Kazuya. So, there you go. This is not a forced 50-50. I have counterplay available to me. So, because of that, I can't consider this a forced 50-50. There are ways to just... I don't have to sidestep that shit with perfect timing. I don't have to sidewalk it with perfect timing. I can leisurely sidewalk both options. The way that Kazuya gets around this is he delays his timing, which is a skill thing. Like, a lot of players that are good with their timing are usually just really fucking good at the game Tekken in general, because timing mix-ups is one of the biggest and most difficult fundamental tools, fundamental concepts in the entire game. So if you have good if you're good at mixing up your timing, then you're a really good player. So, and that gets around people's automatic fucking, leisurely sidewalking, able to beat out both options quite easily. No issues whatsoever. I'm just holding sidewalk. I'm not doing anything but holding sidewalk. And I'm beating out forward 4-3, and come on, do the fucking hell sweep once. Okay, sometimes hell sweep can clip you, but sometimes it doesn't. So it really depends on the situation, I guess. But you see, out of 2 wave dashes, he realigned perfectly. So what you sometimes have to do to beat the hell sweep is you have to time the sidestep a little bit better than if you were to try to beat the forward 4-3. But for the most part, you can leisurely sidewalk both options. The hell sweep can clip you depending on the timing. I must have delayed the hell sweep slightly when I was recording this after the double wave dash. Because it came out immediately at the end of the 4 wave dashes, but I think I delayed it slightly after the 2 wave dashes. So that's fine. Not a major issue. It's, again, like I said, timing is a thing. So that's a 50-50. You have options to beat it, though, so it's not a forced 50-50. There's nothing forced about it. You can choose to block. You can choose, also, to just do the shit that Mishimas fucking hate the most in the whole game. Every Mishima player hates to get fucked on by counter hits. And if you don't respect the Mishima, they got nothing. They can't do shit. So if they're wave dashing in your face like this and you're letting them do it, you know, then that's kind of on you. So it's not a forced 50-50 because it has a myriad of counterplay. There's multiple ways to counterplay these options. You can sidewalk left, you can, you know, launch them from behind, sidewalk left, you can mash in their face, and you can just hold back and block and hopefully, you know, guess right. But this is the thing with holding back and blocking. It's a guess at the end of the day. If you're just holding back, you are guessing what Kazuya is going to do next. Some other characters have 50-50s in the game like this as well. Paul's got a really good 50-50. Chaya's got a crazy 50-50. Lydia's got insane 50-50s. Heihachi's not the greatest with 50-50, but, you know, he can wave dash pressure, other stuff. His crazy mids and chip damage, and I can't even say that Heihachi's very good with the 50-50. He's not. Even Devil Jin is better at 50-50 than Heihachi is. And Devil Jin's 50-50 is nothing too crazy. He's got Demon Paw and While Standing 2 from Wave Dash. Both of them are not the greatest options. So Kazuya is definitely the best 50-50 machine in the game. And it's not just because of Hell Sweep and forward 4-3. It's also because he's got Demon Paw, which is slightly harder to sidestep than forward 4-3 and Hell Sweep. He's also got Electric, which doing it out of a wave dash is ridiculously hard. Not very many people are going to be doing that in the middle of a heated match, so you're not going to see that much. But Demon Paw is sort of the Kazuya player's lazy way of getting around leisurely sidewalkers. But people that time their sidesteps well because they have a feel or a grasp for their opponent's timing, if their opponent is playing Kazuya, now all of a sudden they like, okay, he likes to flowchart, you know, like a patricide fist. What am I doing? This controller sucks. Patricide fist into electric into Demon Paw, and that's his flowchart. You know, patricide fist for 5+5 on block into electric into Demon Paw. That's a good 50-50, or not a good 50-50. That's a good flowchart for Kazuya. So once the opponent sees that that's my my game plan, they're going to time their sidesteps appropriately and dodge Demon Paw, even though it's got some pretty decent tracking to sidestep left. Very linear to sidestep right, though. So there's that. That's a general 50-50. Now, what's a forced 50-50? So a forced 50-50 is typically in Tekken 8. It's a concept that was introduced mostly in Tekken 7. Usually after you would block like a rage drive, which are usually heavily plus on block, you wouldn't have too many options. You could sidestep some moves, you could still move out of the way in certain scenarios, but for the most part, a lot of the time, a lot of rage drives were like +6, +7 on block, and you don't really have a lot of options to move in that sense. So you're just forced to stand there and guess the next option. It was sort of existent in Tekken 7, but in Tekken 8, forced 50-50s are abundant because of blocking heat smashes. In this scenario, when Xiaoyu hits me with the heat smash, I can't do anything. I can't step. I can't try to interrupt. I'm mashing jab right now. You can see in the corner of the screen there, I'm mashing 1. Nothing. What about Power Crush? Power Crush has come out a little faster. Nope, you saw the Power Crush activate there, but there was nothing I could do there. And that's because I'm at -18. Once Xiaoyu hits me with the Heat Smash, I'm at -18 and she's in stance, right? So Xiaoyu's at +18 as I block her Heat Smash, and she's got all the fucking time in the world to mash out her fucking Hypnotist 2 or Hypnotist 3. That's a forced 50-50. I can't do anything but guess that scenario. I am forced to just hold it. Either guess, okay, I guessed low and she went mid there. I'm gonna try low again. So I got the low this time. Now I get my punish. You know, so I get a punish there. But if I guess, you know, say I block low, I guess wrong, she hits me with the mid. And if she hits me with the mid, she's still at +5, right? So the mid's +5 and the low is a full launch, or it guarantees a follow-up. Either way, you're basically just forced to stand there and take the follow-up, whatever it may be. This is pretty much the case for every single heat smash once you've blocked it in the game. Chaoya is one of the best 50-50s in the game because of that back turn heat smash. I would say Kazuya is still a better 50-50 character in general because his 50-50 exists at all point in time. But the difference is, Chaoya only needs one successful 50-50 to kill you. And she only gets one with the heat smash once it's blocked, but she only needs one. And if you guess wrong, you very much die. So she is a very strong character, and that 50-50 I just showed you there needs to be looked at. I think the low, oh, it's cool that she did it right away. It being only -13 on block is fucking ridiculous. Forced 50-50s that have virtually no risk to them are a very new thing for Tekken 8. It's a major problem with the game, in my opinion. So it's a reason a lot of people seem to be talking a lot of shit about the game right now, because, yeah, you don't want to just have to be forced to stand there and take the fucking coin flip after you've blocked a move that already did a shit ton of chip damage. I mean, look at this chip damage. And now she's doing more damage. Like, that's a guarantee, that gives you a guarantee. Now, I'm in the same exact scenario if I get hit, too. This is a big problem with Chaoya. This is some bullshit. So, that is some funny shit right there. What a fucking joke, man. So, you block the heat smash, you take a guess. You get hit by the heat smash, you take a guess. Either way, with this scenario with Chaoya, you're guessing the follow-up no matter what. You're not going to be stupid enough to try to mass jab, because then you risk getting counter-hit and taking even more damage. You're not going to try to power crush because you can't. There's nothing that you can do that's going to beat out her follow-up. You got two options, a really strong mid or a really strong low. Pick your fucking poison. Block low or block mid. That's a forced 50-50. Now, it's supposed to only exist for blocked heat smashes, and admittedly, Chaoya's is a little bit too absurd. It needs to be toned down a lot so that we have some option besides take a guess for your literal fucking life after you've blocked the heat smash, and definitely take a guess for game if you've eaten the heat smash and now you're forced to guess the follow-up on top of that. That's just fucked up to me. You should be sent flying far back after she's hit you with the back turn heat smash, but I don't know. That's an oversight from the devs, for sure. Chaoya does not need that. Chaoya players who say she does are probably, out of their fucking minds, or they're just... Or they just love their character so much that they don't want the character to be any weaker than they already are, which Chaoya is not weak in the slightest. Chaoya is she's S tier for sure. So no reason that Chaoya should have that 50-50. She's already got crazy stuff with AOP and Hypnotist stance in general. She doesn't need a forced 50-50 that's that ridiculous. I think the mid should not be +5 on block and heat. I think that the low should be launch punishable by the entire cast at -16 at least. If not, stagger on blocks. It really should stagger on block. That would be ideal. Then I'd say this 50-50 is fair. Because Ling is guessing for her life just as much as you're guessing for yours. At that point. So, it should only exist for heat smashes on block. The forced 50-50 concept. But it doesn't. And I'm going to give you some examples of characters that really prove that in spades. Now, Lars has a very annoying tool, which is his Den 3. Quite an annoying tool, very incredible move, easily his best move. It's a long-range, homing, mid, heat engager that's +5 on block and low crushes. It's quite slow. It comes out of dynamic entry stance, so it's forward 3-3, but it's amazing as an Oki tool. As soon as Lars knocks the opponent down, go in for Den 3, and you're forced to guess the follow-up, because you can't... There's no option select again. So because Lars is +5 here, if I try to, say, sidestep block, I eat the low. If I try to interrupt after the move is blocked, I risk eating the power crush or the low again, which is a counter hit at that point. If I try to, I can power crush myself, but then again, if Lars happens to go for a dynamic entry or silent entry 2, which he's not fucking doing, of course, so I try to power crush and I get killed by silent entry 2, as you can see here. Same thing if I try to jab interrupt. Or I try to counter hit myself. There's nothing I can do. If I try to sidestep, I can sidewalk this left on a perfectly timed sidestep, but it's quite difficult to do so. There you go, I got it. So you really have to wait until the recovery frames are completely finished before you're able to sidewalk that move. But then you risk eating dynamic entry 4 or dynamic entry 1, which you cannot step or interrupt or do anything against. So the stance has moves that you're able to do. The stance has options that you're able to do. To circumvent Lars's offense after he's hit you with a blocked Den 3. But your options are, there's no option select. So at the end of the day, you're still forced to just sit there and guard. Now, if I have all options available, I have no idea what he's gonna do. I'm gonna hold down back to block. Okay, I blocked the 2 because I got lucky. Okay, I held down back and I got launched again because he did silent entry 3, which is a hop kick pretty much, and that's his heat engager, silent entry 1. You can duck the homing move from silent entry, which is silent entry 4, and you can block the silent entry 2. I mean, keep in mind that Lars can delay all of these options, right? So, at the end of the day, you can't step certain moves out of here. You can step that move to the left. You can't step it right. You can't step that move at all. Impossible to sidestep. And that move can be sidewalked left if you time it perfectly. You can power crush through that. And I believe you can power crush through silent entry 1, but then you get counter hit by silent entry 2 for full combo. So you can power crush through a lot of Lars's stuff, but from his dynamic entry, because power crush comes out at 7 frames. You can't rage art after Lars does dynamic entry 3, and you hold block. On +5 on block into, whatever Lars is going to do. If he does dynamic entry 1, he beats out your rage art, because rage art comes out at 8 frames, and dynamic entry 1 is 13 frames. I think it's 13 frames. Let's see, just to make sure that I'm not just talking shit. And he's never gonna fucking do it now, because this game sucks. There we go. It's 12 frames, my bad. So, dynamic entry 1 is 12 frames. It's even better than 13. That's why it beats rage art. So rage art comes out at 8 frames, right? Dynamic entry 3 puts Lars at +5. Okay? Follow along here. So Lars is +5, which now if I'm spamming rage art at -5, because Lars is +5, so I'm -5, right? Basic Tekken math. If that's the case, and Rage Art comes out at 8 frames, that means I need 13 frames for my Rage Art armor to officially engage and for the cutscene to initiate, right? I need 13 frames. Now, if his dynamic entry 1 comes out at 12 frames, it beats out my Rage Art by 1 frame. So, it's impossible to Rage Art. The other thing that if Lars does dynamic entry 1, then you can't, then Rage Art loses. Power Crush beats it though. Power Crush beats any of the mid options. So if you want to try to challenge his dynamic entry shit, you can Power Crush and maybe get some mileage, but then you risk getting launched with dynamic entry or silent entry 2. So, in this sense, because I don't have an option select, and I basically just have to hold block to ensure that I don't either eat any more damage for the follow-up hit, or that I don't get launched for the low, or I don't get smoked by one of the moves because I'm trying to sidestep or sidewalk them. I essentially have to just guess and hold block. So this is a forced 50-50. You're forced to take a guess on the follow-up move. There is no option select. Like you saw with Kazuya, with the wave dash in a 4-4-3 or the wave dash in a hell sweep, you can sidewalk, you can interrupt, you can block. You have options. You can sidestep. You don't even have to time the sidewalk most of the time. Unless the Kazuya delays their timing. Then you have to time the sidewalk or the sidestep. But that's Tekken. That's just the game of Tekken. If you're bitching about that concept, then you're bitching about Tekken, and maybe Tekken's not for you. Because that's like high-level shit. That's why so many people bitch about Kazuya, because a lot of you guys aren't high-level players. I'm sorry, but that's just the case. You're bitching about Kazuya because you think his 50-50 is broken, even though I just demonstrated the two most common moves that most players use from Tekken King rank and below, which is the majority of the fucking player base on the planet, right? Tekken King and below houses everybody, almost. So, if you're struggling against Kazuya and you're Tekken King and below right now, you don't understand the counterplay. I just demonstrated some counterplay for you there. There you go. If the Kazuya player is mixing up their timing, then you need to mix up your timing with your movement. And if you're not able to do that, then you're just getting outplayed, right? But with a forced 50-50, there's no timing mix-up, there's nothing like that. You're forced to just stand there and assume that they're going to do a move after that's done, and whatever comes out, you're just going to either block it standing or block it crouching. And you just hope that you're right. In most cases, when Lars is doing Den 3, I just hold it. I hold it and I see what happens. If I eat the silent entry 2, no big deal, right? Silent entry 2, good fucking move. But it's only really good on counter hit. Otherwise, it's just a low that does, it does 23 damage, it's +6 on hit, and that's it, right? It tracks somewhat to sidestep left, it tracks really well to sidestep right. You can evade it with a good, well-timed sidewalk left, but besides that, it covers all bases for Lars. But it doesn't do a whole lot for him. It's an advancing low, but it's really only good if you connect with Den 3 on block. So, that's why I just hold that. Just give me your follow-up, put this back into the neutral. At that point, I'm not willing to risk my life by attempting a Power Crush. Power Crush will beat all of Lars's mid options from Dynamic Entry 3 into Silent Entry on block, but it still loses on counter hit to Silent Entry 2. So there's that. It's essentially a guessing game. Clive has also a forced 50-50 from the neutral, with an even easier way of accessing it too, just his back 2 or his while running 2. Back 2 gives a similar forced 50-50 to what you just saw there. You have some options to beat some of Lars's options, but at the end of the day, you're still guessing what's coming next. So you really should just be blocking up or blocking crouching. And that's basically the same thing with back 2 into Phoenix Shift for Clive. Same concept, except it's +6 on block, not +5, so it's arguably even worse. And then Clive also has While Running 2, which gives a similar 50-50, forced 50-50 scenario that you saw with Chaoyu with the blocked Heat Smash. You don't have any option but to guess. You can't even attempt to do anything but guess. At least with Den 3 into follow-up, you have options. You can beat out Lars's mids with a Power Crush, but then you die to his low. Or you can attempt to just stand there and guard. Same concept exists for Clive. You can beat out some moves with Power Crush or Interrupt or even Sidestep in some scenarios from Phoenix Shift after back 2 connects on block. But you can't do anything except guess, block up or block down after While Running 2 connects with Clive on block, because that move is plus 14. So the frame advantage is just too high. Your character is disabled for 14 frames. So I hope that clears up the confusion in the community. I know a lot of people seem to be kind of stuck on what the difference between a 50-50 is versus a forced 50-50. I don't think forced 50-50s should really exist in this game. They're egregious. They don't allow for any counterplay, and that's just not Tekken to me. Tekken's always been about appropriate counterplay, being able to sidestep certain things, being able to interrupt, ducking certain strings, being able to backdash out of the way. But if you can't do any of that stuff, then you're not playing Tekken anymore. You're playing a fucking coin flip simulator. And that's just... I get it for heat smashes. Blocking, when you block a heat smash, forced 50-50, fine. Okay, fine. But fuck that for regular, everyday moves that characters can just throw out on the neutral, especially as an amazing fucking Oki tool like Den 3 with Lars. Den 3 is an amazing fucking move, and one of the reasons I think Lars is a lot higher on the tier list than people seem to think or seem to claim he is. A lot of players act like Lars is very bottom tier, and he's not very strong. But when you have a tool that forces a 50-50 every chance you get once your opponent's knocked down, it's so strong, and he's got such evasive maneuverability with his stances and his stance mix-ups. Yes, it's fake pressure, but it creates a lot of screen noise, and it causes confusion for the opponent and mind games. And, you know, if the Lars player is good at mixing up their timing with their stances and the options coming out of the stance, then the stance flippy dippy whatever type of shit can throw off a lot of people because they know what options Lars has and what he's willing to throw out. So it's kind of... I don't know. I don't like Lars. I fucking hate Lars. I think he's a trash character. Horrible fucking character. The design, his gameplay is like, I like anime. Anime is cool, but he is so fucking anime for Tekken. It's absurd. And I play a devil dude. I play Satan as my main character, right? I play fucking Lucifer himself, and I'm talking shit about an anime guy. But that's how ridiculous he is. He's dancing all over the fucking screen. I'm just taking this opportunity to bitch about Lars. This has nothing to do with the video at all. There's nothing educational about this at all. I just fucking hate Lars' design, and I think he's a trash character. And I don't understand people who play this character. He's so fucking annoying just to look at. He's like the male Chow Yu for me. They're both just awful. I want them gone from the game entirely, but they exist. So, whatever. I gotta put up with it, but I just fucking hate fighting this character. The screen noise, to me, is so annoying. But the forced 50-50 aspect is also very annoying. And I don't think it should exist in the game outside of blocked heat smashes. So Den 3 and Clive's back 2 and while running 2 and certain other moves in the game that we could talk about in other videos maybe are almost as bad. And it just when you don't have any other options even to move out of the way, even sidestepping, yeah, it's just not my Tekken. So I understand the complaints there, but, you know, at least it's only a couple of characters, so it's really not that big a deal in the end of the day. But forced 50-50s exist, and Tekken 8 is full of them because of blocked heat smashes, and they are a problem. But so I do think the devs should tweak them a little bit, give us some options besides just taking a guess. But that's there you go. That's all I got to say really about forced 50-50s. I wanted to just discuss that real quick because it needed some clearing up. There's a big difference between a 50-50 and a forced 50-50. They're not the same thing. One has counterplay, the other one is take a literal guess. So, hope that clears it up. Anyways, real quick, shouting out my album yet again, because there's a lot of people I'm sure in the community that haven't checked it out yet, so check it out. Full Disclosure, it's called. There's the fucking album cover somewhere on the screen now, and yeah, check it out. It's fucking probably my best work ever. The album that released a few years back, is also very near and dear and close to my heart, called Let's Get Started. It's also under Deep Voice Guy, the original album. I love that album. But this one is probably the most personal record I've ever written. So links are all in the description down below for everything that you want to check out, how to get the album, how to stream the album. You don't have to fucking pay for it if you want to listen to it on Spotify or whatever. That's fine with me. Just fucking check the album out. I don't care about making money from it. I just want people to hear the damn thing. So, yeah. Check out the album, stream it on Spotify or whatever you're going to do. And, yeah, from there on, like, comment, subscribe down below. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Share the video around. I hope this helps out people that were asking these questions in the comments and clears up all the misconception and the annoyance that people have. And there you go. So, much love. Keep rocking out and keep gaming.